Awesome. All right, that is our top 5 intros. Now we can go right into our top 5 outros.
Yes, sir.
All right, so do you have any honorable mentions for the outros?
Again, no, I don't. And I think the outros, I had a top 4 and was kind of between 3 or 4 songs for the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you one honorable mention, and it's "Dark Days" off of 21 Savage's American Dream album.
Okay, nice.
Was definitely one of my favorite songs off of that album.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of the girl who's on it.
Maria the Scientist.
Maria the Scientist.
Yep.
Yeah, she had an amazing chorus on that song. 21 Savage has some of his best performances lyrically, so couldn't include it in my top 5, but that's definitely one I wanted to shout out. So
nice. All
how
right.
about you?
I have no honorable mentions,
Cool.
so we can go right into the top 5. Corey, what's your number 5?
So I've got "Love Is Blue" off of Blue and Exile's album.
My number 5 is "Trey the Truth in Ibiza" by J. Cole.
Gotcha.
All right, yeah. If you want to talk about the Blue and Exile song.
Yeah, man. So definitely, actually, at first I reviewed this album and this song was a perfect 10 on 10 for me. But the album as itself was one of my top 5 for a long time throughout the year when I was doing my reviews. So this album just encapsulates what the whole album's about, and Blue and Exile do a great job. Actually, most of the song's runtime is Blue verses. But the first 30 seconds of it is just so fire, man. You remember Aloe Black?
Yeah.
Aloe Black's on this, and his vocals are just so good, man. Sonically, it was too good to leave off the list. I mean, Blue goes absolutely crazy on all 3 verses, and they actually kind of mesh on the chorus too, and it sounds so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, 4 minutes of excellent rapping over the same beat. It's literally pretty much the same production for the whole 4 minutes, and he doesn't really take breaks. I mean, it's chorus right into the verse. He doesn't take any gaps in between any of his verses.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a super well written song, and it closes out the album like any good outro should do. So had to include this on my list. Definitely would recommend if you guys haven't heard this album, for sure. So Blue and Exile have plenty of projects out too. So I knew when this came out, and a lot of hip hop people were praising it and saying you should listen. I definitely gave it a spin, and I would recommend the same thing. So
All right, my number 5, "Trey the Truth in Ibiza." When I first listened to it, it's something that I don't do for a lot of hip-hop songs, but I noticed the time signature, and I thought it was very interesting. So I think it's a 3/4. It's a 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. There's not a lot of hip-hop songs like that.
yeah,
So first of all, that's the first thing I noticed when I heard the instrumental come in. Very hard time signature to rap over. That's why it's not really very prominent within hip-hop songs. So I noticed that immediately. I was hooked in already. Next up, you hear the vocal snippet in the background, hooked in again, like outstanding. He keeps reeling me in, and then Cole starts to rap. He raps the chorus. Just the way he's able to flow over this beat and find these pockets over this hard time signature to rap on. It's magnificent. It's beautiful. He's dropping some of his I wouldn't say typical, but some of his, what do you expect from Cole? You have lines I wrote a number of bad refrains, but isn't that life, dude? Make a few hits, but you gotta live with the strikes too. Just dropping this wisdom.
yeah.
It's something that you can expect of Cole, especially on the song. There's a lot of self-reflection. He's also talking about in the same verse, he says, "Please somebody say I changed. All of these years done past. I hope I ain't still the same." You get a lot of that in the song. It's a big reflection song. And I think it's a perfect outro for this album that doesn't really have a concept, but at the same time, feels like some of these songs are just,
Some do, yeah.
Some of these songs are just, they kind of fit together. They may be throwaways, they may be not. There's some bangers on here, some more low-key songs. I think this is a nice little outro to kind of wrap everything up together. As we wait for the fall off, which I hope comes soon, that'd be outstanding. This song is the reason why, songs like this are the reason why I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
The way he's able to rap and flow over this song is not a lot of people can do. It's very, very minuscule within the game right now. I think Cole's hunger within this voice and all the lines that he's saying on this song, as well as that beautiful 3/4 production, that vocal snippet just on loop in the background. Outstanding song, great outro. Definitely one of my more played songs of the year too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can't hide it. I have this on my list.
Yeah.
You'll see soon. So I'll give my explanation for it. But top 4. What do you have at number 4?
I have "Gloria" by Kendrick Lamar featuring SZA.
Nice, nice. I have "On the Set" by Freddie Gibbs.
Ooh, nice. That's a good pick. I like that. Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead and get into "Gloria."
Yeah. So Gloria.
Pause. Don't get into
Okay.
it. Why don't you go ahead and talk about "Gloria"?
There we go. That's better. Yeah. So Gloria. When we first listened to this song, very smooth, very smooth. Obviously, kind of just listening to it, you're kind of hearing everything. You think he's talking about a girl, so you're kind of in that story. You're SZA on the chorus. I love SZA.
They don't miss, man.
They don't miss together. But yeah, you're hearing Kendrick talk about, talking about this girl. He's saying stuff like, "Was no more holding than pistols in front of stores with you. You want reality, not tragedy. For sure, I get you. In 2014, I went to Africa, baby. You was my passenger. Fabrication, I discussed you. Then you blocked me. I said, fuck you." And he's like, okay. He's like, he's talking about a girl. Get to the third verse. At the end of it, he's like, "Ain't no bitch like my bitch because that bitch in my pen." And you're like, whoa, okay, hold on. I have to re-listen to this song.
I remember we were together when we heard this album, and we were just like in awe. Like, you thought for sure, like, even like you just said, like, blocking, and he's talking about writer's block.
Yeah.
Like, he's not talking about blocking a girl. It's like everything he does is interpreted in the way of his pen, and it's so crazy.
This song is like it's a whole double entendre. It's like, when Nas talks from the perspective of like a gun or like beef, like recently he's done. This is the same sort of thing, except Kendrick's talking to his pen. Could be a girl. It's crazy. It's crazy how he's able to kind of like fit all of these like double entendres within this song, and they mean something in both different ways. It's crazy. And I love when rappers do this. Kendrick, of course, he's done it. He's done it a few times. So it's like people like Nas, for example. I mean, always a very interesting thing to do with the song. It always keeps me hooked. I love looking back at the song after I listen to it and still finding new things. Like, I met her when I was off the porch as a teenager. She said one day I would write my wrongs in sea paper. Like,
yeah,
it's masterclass writing, and very, very good outro for the album. Very well written song. Very nice sounding song. Very soothing compared to all of the more upbeat, hype G-Funk songs we get on this album. This is a nice closer. I think it sets off the listener with with a nice tone.
I agree, man. And I'm not gonna hide it. Like, this is also on my list, so I'll talk about it a little bit. I mean, we obviously see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, so we've got very similar music interests, and I agree with everything you said there. So, my number 4 on the set, Freddie Gibbs, off of his album from this year, You Only Die Once. Only Die Once.
Uncle Freddie, baby. Let's go. Let's hear it.
So, yeah, I think this is a top produced song of the year for me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I just love this beat. The production is very exceptional. And Freddie, like he does, he just flows over it like Uncle Freddie does, man. Again, I think this is one of my favorite lyrical cuts from him, too, off the album. He kind of makes a personal cut talking about his state of mind, where he's at in the rap game. And he kind of does talk about, obviously he talks about Nipsey, Rich Homie Quan, all these rappers who have died. And he kind of like, in a way, he's like, why am I doing this if this is what the outcome's going to be? So he even has a line where I'm pretty sure he's like, I even thought about quitting the game. Like, I feel like I'm getting nothing out of it. So it's kind of cool for him to be over this cool production and have a super lyrical cut and talking about, even I can't think of the song, but he's like, they always forget about the boy from Gary, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, he does all this work, and he's like, what's the point? Like, what am I going to get out of it? It seems like it ends in a casket for a lot of these guys. So I think that was super cool that he could kind of give his state of mind on where he's at in life right now. And I don't think it's any question he's still a top 15 rapper currently in form right now. So And he continues to really display that on all of his projects. So had to put this on my list for sure.
Yep, nice. That's a very, very good description of that song.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, number 3. What do you got, Corey?
I've got I Hope You Find Your Way Home by Tyler, the Creator.
I had a feeling that'd be in your list. I have Dark Days by 21 Savage.
Really?
Yep.
So you included it. That's awesome, man.
Yep.
I'm glad I shouted it out, but you can definitely go into more detail. I'll go ahead and jump into Tyler's outro track on Chromacopia, I Hope You Find Your Way Home. And again, another track that, I mean, I'm a big sonical over lyrical type of listener. I still value lyrics, but I feel like I value the production a little bit more. So I think this album is elite produced by Tyler and a few of the other co-producers, but this song's no exception.
Yeah.
Well-written Tyler verse caps off that narration with his mother really well, and just saying how proud she is of Tyler and for finding his way in life, and how he kind of wants to use how his mom helped him find his way and portray it in his music so other people who listen can find their way in life too. And that's what we're all trying to do, man, is It's just find our way and find what we're good at and stick with it. So
Yep.
I think a lot of people can really, really take this in and resonate with it. And Tyler's really, really solid at bringing the listeners in. He brought me in right away. Like I said earlier, I haven't really listened to much Tyler, the Creator, up until really the rollout. I mean, I've listened to Flower Boy. I've got the vinyl. But outside of that, I've heard just his big songs. I still haven't really even dove into his discography like I want to. But this is going to be the Tyler album that I really reside with. I know a lot of people reside with Flower Boy and Igor, but this is my start to Tyler, and this is the outro track of that album. So definitely had to include it. And yeah, Tyler, I think he's him right now. I think he's top 5 in the genre as far as album experiences. He's probably even top 2 or 3 as far as an album experience goes. He just doesn't really miss. He's so good at having these characters, and I just love how he had that continuous narration throughout the album, and it really closed it off here really well. So I hope you find your way home by Tyler, number 3.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, no, I remember you were telling me about the song. You were like, yeah, this is a really good song. Like,
it was a grower on me too. I think that's the song that, again, I kind of my listens go, I kind of just listen to it for what it is. Then the songs that sonically are better kind of stick, and then I do a Genius dive, and then I do my review.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was doing it, I don't think originally, like songs like Sticky, songs like Saint Chroma, those sonical, like those out in your face songs, those are the ones that you naturally gravitated towards.
Mm-hmm.
But when I dove into the lyrics, songs like this, songs like Him, songs like, I'm trying to think of a couple others, but they're all over this. Hey Jane, Take Your Mask Off, all those sorts of songs I started to value. But I think this had to be on my outros list, and the 3rd spot was perfect for it. So
nice, awesome. Yeah, I'll go ahead and talk about Dark Days by 21 Savage. So this is actually a song I did not expect to have in here. When I did my re-listen a few weeks ago, listening to the album, listening to Nina, I love that song. Then I got to the end and I heard this again, and something just like kind of struck within me. I was like, damn, that's one of the like most personal 21 Savage songs ever. You don't get that a lot from him. But the thing is with this song is he puts it in a way to where the listener can understand. Yeah, he's putting it in this way to where like it's kind of like a cautionary tale. It's like a warning for people trying to get into this sort of stuff and put this persona on, and in the end they're really not knowing what they're getting into. 21 Savage is being like, okay, well here's how I dealt with it and my experience with it, and it's not light and go-hearted. It's pretty dark. It's very deep and personal.
Just like the title says. So.
Exactly. Like he has lines where he's talking about I wouldn't do suicide, but I'd be lying if I said it hadn't crossed my mind. It's like stuff like that. It's he's trying to numb the pain, drinking bottles till he drowns. It's these things that he's done in his past, and it's like kind of catching up to him a little bit. And he's happy that he at least was able to find a way out. But there's some people talks about at the start of the 2nd verse. He's talking about how he knows how it feels to see like his dog stretched out and watch him struggle trying to let out his last breath. Like, it's these moments that make this song very deep and personal, and he really just like lets you into it.
Yeah.
Not an easy to listen to song at all.
No.
But chorus from Maria the Scientist, beautiful, melodically perfect.
I think one of the best of the year, man.
Yep.
Now, the more I'm thinking about it, I'm really considering it for future lists. So.
Yeah. And like I said, the song's just a cautionary tale. He's saying, it sounds lame, but just, stay in school. They have a place, where that they put people who don't follow rules. Talking about prison, stuff like that. It's kind of like not talking down, but in a way giving like advice, wisdom. He's not like shitting on these guys for like.
It's his job. He's a icon. He's a role model. He's a voice for a lot of these young black people, like you said. So. I don't think he's doing that at all. I think he's doing what he needs to be doing.
Exactly.
He's using his personal experiences and giving it out to people so they can better their lives. Kind of similar tracks in a way of what Tyler did on his outro track too. So I really like how those kind of coincided there.
Yeah, that's all I got for Dark Days.
Yes, sir.
Amazing song, great outro to the album too. Like it wraps everything up nice.
All right, top 2.
All right,
go for it.
I have Lupe Fiasco, Till Eternity.
Okay. You really like this album.
Really like this album. I like this song. What you got for number 2?
I've got Kendrick Lamar featuring SZA. I've got Gloria.
Gloria. Nice. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, if you want to dive into Gloria a little bit.
Yeah, man. Again, you had a great...
Pause.
Go ahead and dive on in. All right, but yeah, but anyways, one of the best written concepts of the year, not just from Kendrick, but in itself, which is crazy because I don't even consider this a top 2 song on the album.
Yeah.
But the concept itself is definitely one of the best of the year. Again, Kendrick refers to Gloria as his pen. Starts off, you think it's a relationship with this girl. You find out at the end it's his pen. I mean, just the jaw drop and really following along with the lyrics, like that factor, like, it's not even about that, but everything he said was perfectly coincided. It's just mind blowing, and it really shows how amazing his pen game is. No pun intended. But and SZA, obviously, I said it earlier, they don't miss. They simply don't miss. I mean, she does her thing. Her vocals are amazing. Production's simple but effective, and it really just shows the journey he's been on, making and writing these albums.
Yeah.
And it really puts it all together, like you said. His trip to Africa and all sorts of stuff. So I like how we kind of brought that back together 10 years later on a song for the outro of his album we didn't even expect to get this year. So I thought it was well executed on both Kendrick Lamar's side of things and SZA's side of things, and definitely had to put this in my top 2.
Solid. Yeah, so I had Lupe Fiasco's Till Eternity, outro of the Samurai. I do like this song a lot. It was my favorite when I first listened to the album, which is crazy because there's a lot of good songs on that album.
Yeah.
I'd probably put over it now. But the thing is with this song is it still gets me going. It's a very motivational, upbeat sort of song. But yeah, even within this song, over this very fast-paced piano beat in a way, this percussion.
Yeah.
He still ties in the themes of the album, talking about samurais and whatnot, and this battle rapper's rise, to fame. After talking about obviously everything else in the album, talking about the actual upcoming, the issues with having that fame, and then the downfall. So the song just kind of summarizes everything with this whole story into one motivational outro, and absolutely love his flow on this song, his cadences that he has, his rhyme schemes per usual. That's always the best thing about Lupe. He's a magnificent writer. He's a poet. It's always hard to break down his songs because there's so many different meanings to one line or a group of lines. They can mean one thing, they can mean another thing. It's all up to interpretation. So I mean, I just love listening to this song. It's actually a song I have on my workout playlist. It gets me motivated. There's just something about the sound of this one that just gets me going. Very mindful music. I love the breakdown in the third verse as well, where the beat kind of the percussion kind of goes away, and he's talking about, what the fuck is he talking about, man? That's the thing.
He's just so in depth with everything he does.
Very in depth. He uses a lot of metaphors, and especially if you look into it, it can mean so many different things. I think the big thing for this one for me is just the sound of it and the way he's able to kind of mold himself within the beat. It's such a, I don't say it's a hard beat to kind of put yourself into, but he definitely approaches it a different way than any other rapper could. Yeah. I think that's something you get with Lupe that you don't get with many other rappers.
Yeah, I agree, man. He's definitely a lyrical listener's type of artist. I mean, super in depth. You've got to really break down his stuff 3 or 4 times, so I can see why you really enjoy his work and his album from this year. So.
Yep.
All right, numero uno.
This is big. All right. What do you have?
I've got Trade the Truth in Ibiza by J. Cole.
I had a feeling, because I know you like that song a lot.
Yeah.
I have Freddie Gibbs on the set.
I love it. So yeah, man, you did a good job just with your description of Trade the Truth. I think I just knew right away with this song that this was going to be one I was going to be spinning all year. Obviously dropped back in, March?
Around April, I think.
April time, just after the Like That verse dropped, so yeah, in April.
Yep.
But again, I knew it'd be, I honestly kind of had a feeling it was going to be my number one outro from that moment.
Yeah.
Just a song that grew and grew and grew on me. I've bumped it 50 times at least this year. Mm-hmm. The replay value's there, hasn't gotten old. And again, just love the stop and start flow he uses. You kind of touched on how unique of a pattern or time stamp it was. But yeah, so the breaks he uses is perfect over this production, which again, the production is one of my favorites of the year. Probably top 2 off of My Delete Later for me. And again, like I said earlier, with Pricey, man, he just continues to prove that he's at the top of the rap game and he's not going anywhere for a while, hopefully. So this is the song that I'll keep in rotation out of MDL, that and Pricey. Mm-hmm. And for a Lucy album, like you said, to get concept tracks like this and tracks like Pie and just stuff like that, mm-hmm. It's really got me sitting well and excited for the fall off. So I'm gonna be bumping this until the Fall Off drops. Obviously, he just dropped his deluxe version of 2014 Forest Hills, so that's gonna be there. He just put up his 3 mixtapes on DSP, so I really feel like something big's coming for J. Cole in 2025, and I think that's my prediction. I think he's gonna drop middle of 2025, the Fall Off, and it's gonna be a classic right away. So.
Nice.
Try the Truth and Ibiza #1 for my outros of the year.
Solid. Yeah, so I have Freddie Gibbs on the set. So I remember listening to this song at first, and he comes in straight. He comes straight.
God damn, and God did it.
Talking about Diddy, and this is obviously this album released a little bit after that. Like he was actually arrested.
Yeah,
so
right around that time.
This is a very recent song. He's also talking about Rich Homie Quan passing. So. I mean, this is probably something he's had, like the thoughts and things that he talked about in the song. These are probably things he's thought for a while.
Yeah.
He's just trying to put it into more modern events, and I think it works perfectly for, especially at his place in his career, talking about, like you said, you explained it very well. I'm talking about the passing of these rappers, and, they're not really, they didn't get anything out of it. They were still young. They were still, up and coming, and...
He even talks about, I think I said, Biggie and Tupac too. I mean, two of the best of all time who had their careers cut short.
Yeah, like you said, he almost gave up. Like he was contemplating this. He was thinking all about this stuff, and like, what is he getting out of this game? Like, what is there anything that is it safe for him to stay in it?
Yeah.
You could probably interpret this like concept about the song in many different ways. I mean, you could interpret it like street life in general. I know he was a part of that at some point within his life, probably like before he even dropped Pinata. Like, that's always been a big topic within his songs. He's just wondering, what is he getting out of this? Does he need to move on? I think he's having the same thoughts about like the rap game now at this point. So there could be a chance we could be coming to the end of Freddie Gibbs. You never know.
I hope not personally, but if it is,
yeah,
it is what it is. I guess he's got plenty of albums to hold us over. I still got to dive into all of his older stuff, and you've praised Pinata and Banana, Alfredo, all 3 of those albums you've praised, so definitely excited to dive into those too. So
exactly, and yeah, if we keep getting songs like this and songs like everything from this album, You Only Die Once, like over this production, the way he's able to just find the deepest pockets within every beat. But yeah, one phrase he's repeated throughout the song, and I think is something that he's standing by, is left a legacy up in this bitch before I left out. Like he could be hinting at possibly stepping out of the game. I think this song is like his thoughts on it, and like letting his listeners know like it's a possibility.
It's up in the air, yeah.
Exactly, but over this beat, man, this beat is so just haunting, slow paced. The single guitar notes just leading up to this dissonant note, like it's.
Is this your favorite production off of the album?
I think it. I
top
think it
2.
is. I think it is.
I think
my
it's
favorite
top
production.
2. I'd say Brick Fees is probably up there for me.
Yeah.
Especially that beat change at the end of that song. But this is probably top 2.
Yeah, I'd say this or Wolverine. But I mean,
another good one.
Could be really. This album's really good. But this song is definitely the standout for me. Really good outro. Leaves the listener with a lot of
questions, concerns.
It leaves the listener with something like to think about, basically.
Yeah.
It's food for thought.
Maybe it'll make listeners appreciate him while he's still here.
Exactly, and that's another big theme of this track. I mean, he's talking about all these rappers passed away. You gotta give people their flowers before they're dead. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah. Do you want to do like a recap of the top 5s?
Yep.
Okay. Nice. And then on the outros, I've got Tray the Truth and Ibiza by J. Cole at #1. At #2, Gloria by Kendrick Lamar featuring SZA. At #3, I Hope You Find Your Way Home by Tyler, the Creator. #4, On the Set by Freddie Gibbs. And #5, Love is Blue by Blue in Exile.
Alright, so I have #1, Freddie Gibbs, On the Set. #2, Lupe Fiasco, Till Eternity. #3, 21 Savage, Dark Days. #4, Kendrick Lamar, Gloria. And #5, J. Cole, Tray the Truth and Ibiza.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
I mean, definitely a great year. Intros and outros, plenty of options. I think we've got 2 solid lists on intros and outros for sure. So.
Agreed. Alright, so that'll be it for our 2024 Top 5 Intros and Outros video. Hope you guys enjoyed. We do a lot for this channel.
We haven't done anything for this channel in almost 2 years, so.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll be back. We won't be as, as prominent. Obviously, we want to do our 2024 recaps. But, however, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, maybe subscribe. That'll give us some more, motivation, some more input. That'd be awesome. We definitely want to try this out at least. I think it'd be fun for both of us. And we both enjoy talking about music. But yeah, if you have any thoughts on our list, just let us know down in the comments.
Yeah, so our next video coming up will be our top 10 features of 2024. So stay on the lookout for that here soon. Again, we appreciate you guys checking in.
I'm Ace.
And I'm Corey.
This is the AC Unit, signing off.
See you guys.